Recently, Michael Knowles sat down for an interview with Justin Waller, noted red pill masculinity bro thinker. And I mean that just as a description. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. I've covered Justin Waller in the past, a while back on this channel. But they sat down and they had a debate over love and marriage, and we've got to talk about it. So Justin Waller is a guy who he has like a main woman, I think a wife, but just not legally a wife. And he has a bunch of girlfriends, and even said, my wife helps me get other girlfriends and stuff like that. He wants to have a bunch of kids. He goes, I hope to have 100 children with all kinds of different women, and my goal in life is to support all of them, and I think that's the best structure for me and things like that. And so they have a debate about marriage and especially about divorce. This is where the red pill thought process goes askew, or at least one of the ways that it goes askew. They say marriage is a bad deal for men. I covered Trent Horn and Pearl Davis with my friend Tyler Redman recently on the channel as well. I'll link those two videos in the description if you want to watch them. But they say marriage is a bad deal for men because of divorce. And so why would I invite the government into my marriage and for a situation where a woman could take half of all my stuff, basically? And even a loving relationship, he goes, no, it's just not safe enough for me. I don't want to do that. So notice what he says to Michael Knowles. He even talks about his parents. And Michael Knowles is going to push back on him and try to get him to understand something. And we'll see if he can or he can't.
Yeah. I wouldn't personally play in the street that way. Many men, including my father, who married my mother twice and got wrecked.
You married her twice?
Married her twice.
There's something kind of sweet about that, I guess. And you got to go back
No, I don't think there's anything sweet about it at all. I think that...
You think you shouldn't have married her twice?
No, he shouldn't have married her the first time. But he did...
My father shouldn't have married my mother the first time, he says.
You know, I say this...
And he calls getting married playing in the street. Like you're playing with live ammunition, basically.
It's about people. Be graceful with your father because you have information he did not have. And when I look at my father, grew up farming cotton in Oxford, Mississippi. My grandfather came back, he was a tail gunner in World War II, came back, started farming cotton. My dad started helping him. He saw my grandfather go to church every Sunday. He saw the family work, he saw it all work, and he took that faith in the Bible and religion, bringing two people together in union, and he met my mother, and my mother's beauty probably swayed him a bit, enough to marry her twice. And he had the same faith in that, I believe, that you did. But he didn't get the same result because he didn't have the consciousness to go become a Michael Knowles or this person, this man. I do believe one very important thing that a man should do, particularly in a relationship, is do everything in his power to be so unreplaceable that the woman would never want to leave him. And that's actually what I think is protecting you.
So real quick, this is their disconnect that they've been having because you don't have the context for this. He says a man should be so unreplaceable that a woman wouldn't even try to leave him, wouldn't even think about leaving him. Now, the difference in their viewpoints is Justin Waller is saying logistically irreplaceable, that you should be so, your wife should be so financially dependent on you that the idea of leaving you is impossible. Now, just for starters, that is so horrible to think about. I know so many, I've known of so many relationships where even boyfriend-girlfriend, like live-in boyfriend-girlfriend relationships where it's an abusive situation and the wife or the girlfriend will say, I mean, what am I going to do though? Where am I going to go? I have no money. I have no job. I depend on him completely. I just have to stay here. I mean, is that really what he's shooting for? Is that the kind of relationship that he wants to have? I mean, again, it's just a horrible thing to think about sometimes. And Michael Knowles' point is you should be not irreplaceable in the sense of logistics or money. You should be someone that just loves your wife so much that why would she want to leave you? While you're watching, like the video, subscribe to the channel, consider supporting on Patreon. The link is in the description below. Let's get back to the video.
That particular thing is protecting you more than, and I didn't mean no disrespect to religion at all, than the Catholic faith.
So he's telling Michael Knowles the fact that you're rich protects you more in your marriage from being divorced than the fact that you and your wife are both Catholic, who don't believe in divorce. Think about that for a second.
I know people who don't have a lot of money, who don't have a lot going on professionally, and I think they'll never get divorced because these spouses have a shared view of what marriage is, and they would sooner be struck dead than divorced.
So Michael Knowles is saying it's not about money, or it shouldn't be about money. It should be about values. And if you and your spouse have the same values, truly have the same values, then the idea of divorcing is just going to be a crazy idea. And to even get yourself to a place mentally where the idea of divorce is palatable, I mean, that is such a far thing. So much would have to happen. And not just like normal problems. It would have to be such crazy, crazy circumstances and changes to who you are fundamentally to get you to even try to divorce your spouse. That's what Michael Knowles is saying. It shouldn't be like, well, she needs me financially, so I'm safe. It should be, she loves me and I love her, and we both share the same values about the commitment of marriage.
So they share the Dante view. The view you're talking about is this mercurial view, this really warlike kind of view. How much of that do you think owes to the fact that your parents had this rough marriage history?
So you don't believe in getting married. Maybe it's because your parents divorced and they got remarried again. And I think they might have divorced a second time. Maybe that's why you have this view. Notice what he says.
I think it's more of a statistical thing for me. I think that I objectively see the world. I look at the world and see for what it is. And I see the people that are getting divorced. I see the numbers. I'm on these shows where they talk about these statistics. And to be quite frank with you, I have an inbox full of married women on Instagram and Facebook. And so when you get to hypergamy, it's very real.
Hypergamy.
So you notice that he goes, that has nothing to do with my parents. My views today have nothing to do with my parents. They have everything to do with statistics. And now again, a lot of the red pill people, their statistics are very incorrect. You see this when Trent Horn debated Pearl Davis. He corrected her so much on statistics. But that's what he says. This has nothing to do with my parents. I mean, what a coincidence that he has surely this pain and this trauma from the difficult marriage circumstance with his parents. And now he has a view that coalesces so well with the trauma that he experienced as a kid, but he goes, no, it's all about just statistics. It's all about just numbers.
For those out there who don't know.
So women marry and date across and up. And they're constantly, by nature, again, I love women. Let me be very clear about this.
But
and in fact, I have quite the reputation for loving them a bit too much.
Yeah.
And my wife helps, by the way. So y'all can kiss my But the point I'm trying to make.
Wait, your wife helps the hypergamy? No, the...
You got girlfriends, G.
Really?
Yeah, man. I live the dream, bro. I live the dream.
His wife helps him get girlfriends. I live the dream. I'm not committed to just one woman. That is the dream. He is not living the dream. That is such an empty and superficial kind of a lifestyle. Not real love, not real relationship. And it's the kind of life that even people like Hugh Hefner lived to regret when they got older.
And that's not advice. And you might have to cut it. Cut it if you
No, we don't
cut
have
it
to
if you
cut
wish. But
it's not. Why is it not advice?
when I first started doing social media content, I would talk about these things, right? And even though I didn't mean to, in a lot of ways it came off as if I was promoting having a bunch of women.
Yeah.
I'm actually not.
Why not? If it's good for you, why is it not good for some other guy?
It's not important enough to me to try to promote it. I want people, again, here's the truth of the world. And the truth is that 70% of women do call for divorce. And the truth is that the way the laws are set up.
Or 70% of divorces are initiated by women.
By women.
Yeah.
Right. Women call for 70% of the divorce. Right?
Yeah.
And the truth is that in that situation, you're going to lose your shirt. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk about, that's the truth. Here are the things that I prescribe that you do. Become a man that's so hard to replace that she never wants to.
Yeah.
Be the hero, which is the beautiful thing about love, by the way. Like, it's not worth winning. It's not worth making more money. It's not worth accomplishing more if you can't put that energy into my father, the kids, the wife, the family, all of them. Even the nanny gets excited at my house. You know, well, we won again. We killed it again. It's not as fun to do it because then you're just alone. And then what?
But then I agree. Of course.
So you notice he takes his joy not out of like real love, but his idea of love, which is, I am so good at providing. I am so good at providing money. I'm so good at providing a nice house, nice cars, all that stuff. I am so good at this. This is the way I show my love. And okay, that sounds great. And that stuff does matter, providing a house, providing for your family. Of course, that's biblical. 1 Timothy 5, verse number 8. However, those physical things, those material things, those logistics, they're not enough. They are not enough for a marriage, a happy marriage. They're not enough for kids and what they need from a father. They are not enough. It is not normal for a kid to grow up and go, well, yeah, I have a dad, but my mom, she's not really his wife. We kind of see him sometimes, or we live in like the guest house of his mansion, and that's not normal for a kid to experience. And so while he might be providing a good life materially, he's also providing so much emotional damage to his kids and also the women that he has in his life, who he is basically setting himself up and setting them up to need him forever and ever because of money and logistics, even when they wouldn't be happy. It's such a basic disconnect. Basically, it's Michael Knowles is saying, our marriages can be committed and they can be safe. We don't have to worry about divorce because we simply love one another. And then he's on the other side and going, no. If you don't want to worry about divorce, make yourself logistically irreplaceable. And real love is not like about the emotional side of it as much as it is about the logistical side of it and the financial side of it. And again, that sounds good. And maybe in practicality, that does play out for him in his life. It doesn't make it good, though. It can work. Sure, it can work on the logistical side, but on the emotional side and giving kids what they actually need, it's not going to work. And again, even when he debated Lila Rose about this, she said, your kids are going to grow up and they're not going to be happy. What if they reject the fact that you're not committed to their mom?
I live my life unapologetically on my terms. So if my daughters that are overly spoiled and educated in every way and have friends all over the world and world traveled in the best schools in the world, if they have a problem with me at the end of the day, then they can kick rocks too.
Craziness. But let me know what you think. Am I just jealous of him or something like that? Am I wrong about this? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, consider supporting on Patreon. God bless you, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.